You go by Steve, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What attracted you to Quincy all the way from Fort Wayne, Indiana?
Well, let me tell you that it's a 7-hour trip, and I made it again today. What attracted me to Quincy? Actually, I started out as a search firm contacted me, and they had introduced the concept. He said, Steve, I've got a perfect place for you. I know your leadership skills. Quincy, Illinois is the perfect place. He told me about the school board. He told me about the community. He shared some of the things that you shared with me. He said, you've got to go for this. At that time, I wasn't ready. And then later on, about 3 weeks ago, I started looking at this website, and the website listed Quincy, but it didn't say that the position had been filled. And so about 2 days later, he contacted me again. He goes, would you reconsider going to Quincy and interviewing for the position? And at that time, I talked to my wife about it. We said, yeah, sure, let me go for this. I'm very interested. Well, my wife and I came in a couple weeks ago. We came in on a Friday. We stayed overnight, and before the interview, about 3 hours early, we drove around the community. And as I've told others, I tell you what, you may take it for granted living in the community of Quincy. I, coming in from the outside, want to tell you, you got a beautiful community. This is a wonderful, we went to every corner that we could, looking at every subdivision, business, school, every place. And I came into the interview with a whole different attitude of, I want this job. I can help this school corporation, they can help me, we can grow together and we can move forward. And so with that in mind, I came in planning on interviewing the school board as much as they were interviewing me. As I left, my wife said, well, how do you think you did? And I said, I think it did pretty well. And she says, well, what do you think will happen? I said, I really don't know. And probably about 4 or 5 days later, I got a phone call inviting me to, hopefully I was interested and would accept the superintendent's position. I said, wholeheartedly, without any reservations whatsoever. And I'm here.
Last question. I want to get 2 questions for you because we'll come back and visit with you. But what do you think the biggest challenges are here, Steve?
Oh, you know, it's like almost like any school district. I mean, we're going to have to look at technology. We're going to have to develop a strategic plan of where we want to go over the next, not 5 years, 10 years, next 15, 20 years. I think we're looking at also the aspect of giving an excellent education to our students, but also, just like you, keeping and retaining our students so they stay in Quincy, stay in Adams County. I think it's extremely important that we look at technology. We've also got to look at, you know, I hate to say this, but Illinois is no different than Indiana. We still have budget issues that we have to be concerned with. I also want to be, and people will find out about me, that I'm very involved. I'll be actively involved in our schools, working with our teachers and our Teachers Association, working with the business community. All of those, though, I think we've got the core that everyone in this community, Quincy Public Schools has to survive and do well. And we need to do well because it does impact the economy of Quincy. And so we have to make sure that everyone is in this partnership together. And if we're in this partnership together, we're going to have and make sure that we have well-educated students and children who are going to stay in Adams County and Quincy is going to move forward. So we do have some issues that we have to deal with. We also have to look at the infrastructure of our buildings.